All right. Hold on. Okay. We are live, I think. Yes, we are live. Welcome, guys. How's everything going? How are you guys doing? It's been a while since we have actually gone live like this. And because of a few reasons, few things trying to move the schedule. Usually we do it on Mondays, but now we're trying to experiment with doing it on Fridays at 12 or maybe a little bit more later times. But that's what the schedule would be like going forward, trying to stream live on Fridays. So yeah, we are live currently on Facebook, live on YouTube. And as usual, if you have any questions, any comments and concerns or anything like that, do leave it in the chat. I am reading the chat. I can see the chat, so I can see when you put your message in, and we can have a discussion, have a talk. If you have some other points or some other things that you want to talk about too, we can also talk about that. For today, we are going to be talking about overcoming your fear of the camera, and this is mainly for business owners or even content creators or even digital marketers themselves too, who want to appear on video and promote their product, their service, or their brand, or their business in general. But because the camera sometimes, it's very different from being in person. It's well, there are two types of things, right? You have the two types of things. People who are very good speaking in person, people who are very good, or people who are very good speaking on camera, but they're not good in person. People who are good in person, but not good in camera. And they have kind of like that gray area in between that sometimes some people can do both. There's a gray area. And well, for me, honestly, I'll tell you, for me, I'm good in person. I'm very good in person, but on camera like this, it's a little bit, I'm still getting there, but for me, I still feel comfortable. At least I'm at a point where I feel very comfortable with myself, feel very comfortable with the camera being pointed at me. I don't freak out or nothing like that, or I don't lose my train of thought a lot. So it's just all about practice, and which is what we're going to go over mainly: overcoming your fear of the camera, recording yourself on video, promoting your service, saying something on camera, staying on brand, and not rambling on or saying a lot of filler words like, or kind of things like that. So it's all about being able to communicate your message clearly to an audience or to whoever is behind the screen. So that's what we're going to go over. All right. So doing that, so before we go any further here, let me remove this so we can hop right in. Okay, and I'm going to do it. Let's do it this way. Here we go. Oh, okay. I should probably be right around here. There we go. Be a little bit more centered. Um, all right. So we are going to go over a few things here, and we're going to talk about uh, why this is very important for business owners, right? To be able to be on camera and be comfortable on camera. Now, I know that there's a lot of people who would say, or there's a lot of business owners that will be like, well, we just hire someone, we just hire an actor, or we just pick someone else from the team to be on camera. I don't have to be on camera, which is fine. That is fine. A lot of people do that a lot. You hire actors, or you hire someone, a spokesperson, or you hire someone else from the team to be on camera, to be like the spokesperson, which is completely fine. But at the end of the day, you also need to be able to talk on camera. You also need to be able to have the comfortability to speak on camera when the camera is pointed at you and is recording. So, a couple of reasons why. Let's say that the other person is not available for whatever reason and they can't do it, and you might be the only person. Now you have to step up to the plate. Another reason too is also it would help you be able to communicate very clearly, because later down the line, when you are, let's say someone is trying to interview your business, or you do something good for the community, and there's a news PR company or something like that that wants to speak to the CEO, that wants to speak to the actual business owner or to the actual person in charge of the company or of the business, you will have cameras pointed at you, and you will need to be able to speak very clearly and communicate your idea very straightforward on camera and be like the professional you are. Because if you don't have that practice, and let's say the news outlets or whatever uploads the video, and you are there stumbling upon your words and you're rambling on and on, it becomes very unprofessional. And then lots of things can trickle down from that, and that is not a good reflection on your brand. So that's why it's very important for you yourself to be able to know how to speak on camera and be comfortable with staying on camera. So the first reason why here, we're just going to talk about a couple of fears. I have 5 fears right now, 5 fears or obstacles you can say that people face when it comes to cameras, right? So we have number one here. I have fear of being judged. Let's say being. This is a. By the way, this is a new board. This is a new whiteboard that I'm using right now, so it might be a little bit. A little bit. It'll take me a little bit of time to get used to it, but we'll get used to it. Don't worry. So fear of being judged or criticized. And this is the number one reason why people are a little bit more hesitant to be on camera, because they are like, I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be criticized. The whole world's going to see me. I'm going to be on the internet online forever. And honestly, I'll tell you, it really doesn't matter. That's what it comes down to. It really doesn't matter what anyone else is saying, what anyone else thinks, if you're going to be judged or if you're going to be criticized. At the end of the day, this is a point of your journey that you're going to start from somewhere to end up in a better place. Even though it goes on online, and trust me, no one will really care at the end of the day. Like in a couple of months, no one is really going to pay attention to it. No one is going to look up that video really and try to bring it up and like, haha, she didn't brush her teeth, or haha, he didn't do his hair or something like that. Haha, his shirt is worn backwards. See, you can play into the weaknesses of that and show some kind of humanity, behind that, and show like, okay, that was a point of my time, or that was a point in my journey being comfortable on camera. And as you can see, the transformation now, things have changed, and that is me being human. That's what happens. Mistakes happen. Everyone starts somewhere, and that's what it's all about. Doesn't matter if you're being judged, doesn't matter if you're being criticized, doesn't matter if there was a minor mistake that was made. Let's say if it's a mistake that really reflects your brand very bad, then okay, you probably don't want to release that video, or you probably don't want to be on the camera for that. But if it's something that is very minor that everyone does, everyone makes those mistakes here and there, it's completely fine. Don't worry about being judged, don't worry about being criticized. Overcome it. People will forget it eventually. People will not even remember what happened at this point of time at March 31st at 12 p.m. No one is going to remember. No one's going to remember that. So that's one of the big reasons. The other reason is lack of confidence. You usually have a lack of confidence, or let's say public speaking too. Public speaking, let's just say skills. So I understand that a lot of us are not public speakers. A lot of us are not on a podium speaking to a large crowd of audience, which to that does bring a level of confidence. And like I said earlier, there are two types of people, kind of three, but there are two and a half types of people, where one person is very comfortable speaking in person, speaking in a seminar, speaking in front of thousands of people. And then when a camera is brought out, they are not that comfortable with the camera, because it's a much different thing. It's just the lens, right? Versus looking at eyeballs. And there are other people that is the other way around. People are very good on camera, can speak to a lens and can just say whatever. But you have a couple of eyeballs in front of them, a couple of hundreds, and they just start stumbling. That happens. That happens. You just have to find the balance between what's your strength, what's your weaknesses, and how can you improve on your weaknesses. And if you have a lack of confidence or public speaking skills, then this is where a couple of things would be in place, and we'll go over some more tips and strategies to overcome all these fears that we're listing out right now. So you got to keep that in mind, that lack of confidence or lack of public speaking skills does not mean I don't have no confidence, I cannot be on camera at all. It's just a challenge. It's just an obstacle that eventually you will overcome, and people do overcome it eventually. And for some folks it takes long, and for some other folks it takes a very short amount of time until they start just being on camera all the time. So it really is not a big deal in that case. It just takes some practice. It just takes some time, depending on how much time you're investing into it, and depending on a few tips and tricks that you can use to be more comfortable on camera. Now, the third one is another one that is kind of overlooked, but it does play a part into why people don't want to be on camera, which is technical issues. Let's say technology. Technology happens. A mic can't cut off, and just making sure my mic is actually working right now. Mic is cut off, or the camera shuts off mid sentence, or the microphone shuts off mid sentence, or let's say another technical issue could be a light just goes out or something like that, or you completely forget to record and you thought you were recording and something like that. But it could be a bunch of different technical issues that people are like, okay, I'm having a lot of problems now with my phone or with my technology that I used to record or to stream or whatever. I don't feel comfortable getting on camera for it anymore. I just don't feel comfortable. Now, this one is more of a kind of like a lack of motivation rather than the lack of confidence thing. It's more of a lack of motivation. It really does bring a motivation to be on camera and to record when everything technology wise to make the recording is going wrong. That completely get that, completely understand that, but there are ways to be able to avoid that. There are ways to be able to improve on that, and there are ways to be able to kind of overcome that, and we will go over that as usual. Now, on the fourth one that people face in terms of fears and obstacles is time constraints. Okay, time constraints. So sometimes, let's say, when you're not really ready for stuff, right? Or some people need a lot of time to get prepared, get ready, and start recording before they can even hit record. They need to prepare very well. um those kinds of people, there's separate kinds of people, and then sometimes there are times where you are just given a very short notice and you have to record something really quick, and you just have to pump it out or something like that, upload it somewhere or so, and you just have to record on the spot or in a very short amount of time. Now, that can be another obstacle that you could face when you're trying to record something on camera. It's a very common thing. Things happen, but of course, in this sense, the main thing to kind of overcome this in a way is just to prepare ahead of time. And if there is something that does come in a very short amount of time and on a very short notice, we will talk about a little trick, a little way to overcome that. Now, for the fifth one, too, final one is the lack of a clear vision. Lack of a clear vision or message. This one is pretty common, especially in the corporate area, in the corporate industry, let me say. There are people who feel, let's say, who there are people who feel very comfortable that whatever comes out of their mouth will be valuable. And unfortunately, that is not always the case. Sometimes a lot of things that you say on a daily basis is not very valuable. It does not it could be, you could have some value in there, but that value could be drowned in the sea of all the ramblings that you could go on before you end up on that value that you want to actually convey, which is the problem. I was working at a place before, right, at a corporate job before, and the spokesperson for the company was more of the kind of person that he did speak, publicly. He did speak in a couple of places, speak publicly, but on camera, almost every single recording, it was always freestyled. He always felt like we could freestyle. I would just come in, you just push record, and I'll say whatever, and that's it. Sure, that works sometimes, but there are a couple of things that are bad with that, right? Lack of clear vision or lack of a clear message, that happens a lot. Something that you may have not thought of, would not come to your mind later down the line, and you'd be like, oh, that would have been great to put in the video, or that would have been great to say, but it's too late now because the video is already published and is already done, and you freestyled it. You didn't think about it then, so it's already done. And then another thing is too, since I was also the person editing the video, it took a lot more time because I had to meticulously pick out very good sound bites, very good sound pieces, and piece them together to make sure that okay, at least it's clear, it's being fluent, and it has the message that is supposed to be there. And trust me, there was like a full 2 hours or a full hour worth of extra footage that was not needed, that was not needed at all. So we just spent more time during recording, we spent more time during editing, and we have wasted all that time that we could have used, like maybe about 4 hours extra time just from recording, extra editing, that we could have used to do something else, to do another task. So it's a waste of time if you're not being structured, if you're not being clear on your message, not being clear on what you want to say. These things can happen. So make sure you are being clear and you're being structured on exactly what you want to say. Uh, Sometimes you want to freestyle it. Sometimes you may not want to freestyle. You may want to structure it and script it or so. You don't have to script word for word, but you can script it in terms of bullet points. And if you're wondering about scripting, by the way, we do have a webinar on scripting, providing you scripts that do drive sales and how to craft correct scripts and stuff like that. So if you are interested in that, do look at our website. You'll find it somewhere. I think it's under the resource page. But yeah, those are the things. Now, how can we overcome all of these things, right? How can we make sure that at least we are mitigating the risk or mitigating a couple of things and improving on a couple of areas so that way we can be more comfortable on camera when the camera is being pointed at us, when we're recording, if we have to record, if someone is not available, whatever the case may be, we will feel comfortable just recording on camera. So the number one thing is always going to be practice. Always practice. Practice, what's the word? It's not practice makes perfect, right? I like to say practice makes perfection. So practice makes perfection. So always practice. That's the number one thing, regardless of what it is on camera. But camera and even public speaking in front of thousands of people, all it takes is practice. When you have enough practice, when you have enough experience with it, you start to feel more comfortable with it because you already know exactly what you're going to say. You already have an idea of what's going to happen. You start to get an idea of more of the amount of time that you are taking and when you can start cutting things down, when you can start getting to the points, stuff like that. All it takes is practice. So when you practice and you prepare, let me also add some preparation here. Preparation. This would help you get there 90% of the way there. Just practice and preparation. If you're being judged, criticized, or whatever, practice, get some preparation, make sure you have the correct clothes, make sure it's actually on in the right way, make sure you're, just prepare properly, make sure you test your equipment, your technology first before actually going live or recording or whatever, making sure everything works, which also mitigates this, which also goes on this part too. So there's just a couple of things, man, that just practice and preparation takes care of 80 to 90% of the way there. You're already there. Another thing is start small. So if you're having a little problem in terms of what you're going to say, what you're going to say for how long, and what exactly your message is going to be, start small. Start small. Start recording some shorter videos, do some shorter videos, record in a much shorter segment, one at a time. Start small, record your message, make sure you're getting at least 2 or 3 minutes, a minute to 3 minutes, I'll say, length of time of video. Just start small. If you're doing a public speaking event or whatever, and there will be cameras there, if there are cameras there, maybe there might be a couple of people, a little length, maybe 10, 15 people, 20 people or so. Start small. Basically just go to your local event, speak there, go to another local event, speak there 10 minutes or whatever. It does work, it does help a lot, and of course that does help you be on camera more too, because now you're speaking in a much shorter fashion and you are able to condense all your message in a much shorter time, which would help you stay more on track with what you want to say and what you want to convey. And for the third one here, Let me see. Can I even move this? Oh, I didn't want to do that, but okay. Now, for the third one here, which is another important thing, is seek feedback. All right. This is important. Sometimes when you record and when you upload something, or when you just record whatever you want to say, you're promoting your brand, promoting your business, promoting something, right? Maybe give it to a peer, not someone very close to you, or if it's even though it's someone very close to you, make sure they're being honest. Make sure it's someone that actually does give some good criticism back, or some good feedback, some constructive feedback, not someone that is just going to make a comment and pass out or go on their business, right? So you want to seek feedback, people around your circle and people outside of your circle. See what they think about your video. See what they think about what you recorded, and see if you are coming across very well in the way that you want to come across. And you will get some good feedback from that. And now you can go back, re-record, or if they say it's all good to go, then you're all good to go. Practice, rinse, and repeat. That's it. And for the fourth one, you want to embrace imperfection, which was the points that I was saying earlier. If it's a minor thing that happens in your video and you notice, let's say your hair was a little skewed a little bit differently, or it was not made perfectly, or you wore your shirt on a little backwards or something like that, or let's say something in the background was not supposed to be there, that it really doesn't affect your whole brand in terms in general, it's fine. Embrace the imperfection. It makes you human. It makes you seem like you're human. Because we're all humans. Embrace that. And actually, if you can even spin that around to a positive for your brand in a way, then there you go. It works. All of it works. You just have to embrace whatever imperfections there are. If something goes wrong that is not something major, that can be fixed on another video or so very easily, that is not any big deal, then it's not a big deal. Just stick with it, upload the video, and stick with it. Now, for the fifth one, final fifth one, to get overcome this, is you want to, well, I'll give a bonus here. I'll give a bonus here after the fifth one. But for this one, you want to invest in proper equipment and software. This is very weird writing like this here. So this, if you invest in the proper equipment, invest in the proper software, of course, you have less chances of technical issues happening. Less chances of that. This one is more on the technical side, right? And even when you invest in proper equipment, the proper software, you also start to feel a little more confidence too when you want to record, because everything is proper now. Everything is much more proper. Everything is much more set. And you feel more confident that if I get on camera, I don't feel like anything will go wrong. I don't think I'll have any technical issues or stuff like that. Matter of fact, if I have everything working already, everything is very good. My software is good. My equipment is good. It's looking high quality and everything is very streamlined. You start to feel more motivated to record more. That's what it is. That's why I would say invest in proper equipment and invest in proper software to help you along the process of recording on camera. Now, for the sixth and final one is, I mean, this one is a very simple one, very clear one, is have a clear message. Have a clear message and vision. Oh, vision. Have a clear message and vision. And of course, this one directly relates to the lack of your clear vision and your message, right? Which I said is a big one, because there's some people that prefer freestyling, some people prefer scripted, some people can do both. And that's what I always say, do both. If it's something that you feel like I can freestyle and it's something that I want to show some authenticity from how I just talk, by all means, freestyle it. If it's something that needs to be clear, punchy, right to the message, then have a clear vision, have a clear message, say it well, script it if you have to. And or if not, then practice it to the bone, and make sure that when you're there on camera, you are saying everything to the bone. You're getting your message clear and concise. As for vision too, you also want to make sure that whatever you're recording, at least have some kind of idea of how the video is going to play. Whatever you're recording, if you're promoting your brand, if you're promoting your service or whatever, make sure you have a clear vision. How do I want this video to go? Have some kind of understanding to why do I also want it to go this particular way, because that can also dictate what you're going to say. So make sure that you have a clear message, have a clear vision. You know exactly what you're going to say. And just recapping, practice and preparation, practice, practice, practice. Start small, seek for feedback, embrace imperfection, invest in proper equipment, and of course, have a clear message. And that is what is going to help you overcome these fears and obstacles that you're facing with being on camera. Real quick, let me go here actually so we can, boom, there we go. Yeah, I'll leave it like this. Well, it's kind of weird, right? Actually, it's kind of weird having it on there. All right, we'll leave it this way. But yeah, if you practice these, if you stay along with these tips here that I just wrote out, you will start feeling yourself being more comfortable on camera. For some, like I said, for some people, it would take a long time before they can start being more comfortable on camera, but you have to start somewhere. For some people, it can take much less of a time, maybe a month, maybe even less than a month, maybe even 2 months. Who knows? It's all about how you feel on camera, how you start feeling when you're recording on camera, what you're going to say, and how long you're practicing. Lots of different factors could be involved, but just make sure that whatever it is that you are feeling like why you're not recording or why you don't want to record, you keep this in mind and you practice them. You start small, seek feedback, do all these things, embrace the imperfections. Is not going to make or kill your brand or whatever, or the video. It's not going to. Matter of fact, if we look at some videos nowadays, if we look at a lot of them, you will see there are lots of imperfections, lots of mistakes. And actually, sometimes, even in a lot of videos that you guys even watch, that I even watch too, the editor actually does leave some mistakes in those videos because it just works. It works. Embrace the imperfections and invest in proper equipment and software that will help you keep more motivated and all of that, and have a clear message and vision. And with all that being said, that is it for today. So you can overcome your fear. Let's keep it this way actually. But there we go. Great. You can overcome your fear of the camera. This is a very good one because, like I said early on, business owners, CEOs, marketers, or whatever, they always want to hire someone or put someone else, give that someone else the task to be on camera, be the spokesperson. And like I said, there are good things to that, and there are also bad things to that. There's the pros and cons, and which one is it worth it for you? But eventually, you have to understand that eventually, maybe at some point in time, even when you're in a public speaking event, if you like to speak in person and I don't want to do nothing on camera, you are going to have cameras pointed at you at that public speaking event. If you're comfortable with that, then cool. If you're not, then it's time to start getting some practice in and start being on camera more. And of course, maybe the spokesperson who you are hiring or who you have delegated that task to may not understand a lot about the actual subject matter, the actual topic. So that's where the problem could be. And they would just say whatever. They would just be, hey, whatever you tell me to say, I'll just say, and whatever comes to my mind, I will just say. And it could not be what you want to say or what you would have said in that kind of situation. And things just get jumbled up in that case. So keep that in mind. Yeah. So you want to make sure that all of these things are in place. Overcome your fear of being on camera. It is not that scary. It is not that difficult. Matter of fact, if you even feel like maybe I don't even want to be online, you don't even have to upload online. Just have a few offline recordings that you are recording by yourself and keep that in a Dropbox folder somewhere and just reference it sometime at some point and just start to learn from it and see where you can improve on a couple of things that you are saying. If you're the type of person who likes to say a lot of filler words, maybe cut less on the filler words. If you're the type of person that likes to ramble on a lot, maybe start having a script in place, a script in mind, so you can follow it along. Once again, it doesn't have to be word for word, because I know a lot of people don't like to script, because they're always like, oh, I gotta script it word for word and I gotta say it and I'll be so robotic, which is not the case. You can always script bullet points wise. You know how you're speaking in a public event or public speaking event, and you have some cards there that you've written, jotted down some notes so you can make sure that you are saying them. The same thing on camera, like how I'm doing right now. I have my notes over here to make sure that it's keeping me on track, and that's what I have, and that's what I'm going along. It's just a couple of bullet points to make sure that I am saying exactly what I want to say. So yeah, all these things, keep it in mind. Things happen. Embrace the imperfections, all of that. And with that being said, guys, this would be the end. And I would say, as usual, always make the right video. All right. And I will go here. And there we go. Oh, and for the next stream too, I guess we are talking about the next stream now. For the next stream, if you have any suggestions for topics, we do have a lot of topics, but if you have something that you want to talk about pretty soon, or that you want to get some more knowledge on in terms of video marketing or video production, do reach out to us, email us, DM us, follow us, wherever you want, message us, and we will put the topic in place. And maybe next Friday or the next Friday or another time that we are doing something like this, we will address it, or we can even address it in an actual short video or in an actual post. So if you have suggestions like that, do let us know, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. All right, with that being said, guys, peace and have a good Friday.